Hey kiddos, let's take a look at lesson 11:6. In your book, we're on page 655, where you can see up at the top, it'll say lesson 11-6. We are going to continue working with hundreds charts, and today specifically looking at patterns while we counting using patterns up to 100. So let's look at the solve and share. Remember, if you have your book, get that out in front of you. If you do not, then just follow along on the screen, but that book will be extra helpful. All right, let's look at the solve and share. It says Carlos looks at the chart. He knows that 21 comes just after 20. Draw a circle around the numbers that come just after each decade number. How do you know you're correct? And what pattern do you see? I'm going to say that again. Draw a circle around the number that comes just after each decade number. Go ahead and pause the video and do that in your book. All right, I'm going to get a pencil out. Normally I don't give you the answers for this page. We usually just talk about them, but since we're not together to share our work, I wanted to go ahead and do that today. So here's a decade number. Remember, this row this column is the column of decade numbers. And remember, a decade is a group of 10. So here's a decade number, 10. What's the number that comes just after 10? 11. Here's the next decade number. What's the number that comes just after 20? 21. The next decade number is 30. What comes just after 30? 31. Are you starting to see this pattern? The next decade is the number 40. What's the number that comes just after 40? 41. And there's the decade number 50. The number that comes just after is 51. Mathematicians, do you see that pattern? Look at this. These are all of the numbers that come just after a decade number. Just after the number 90, 90 is a decade number. 91 is the number that comes just after. Very good. All right, let's take a look at today's math video.
You can use a chart to find missing numbers. What do you see? Part of a 100 chart is there. What is this called? It is a row. What is this called? It is a column. A column goes up and down. A row goes across. How can you use the numbers 61 and 63 to find out what number is missing? You can figure out the number in between. What number belongs between 61 and 63?
Say it out loud if you know it.
62 belongs between 61 and 63. What number comes just after 70? 71 comes just after 70. What number comes just before the missing number? 84 comes just before the missing number. What number comes just after the missing number? 86 comes just after the missing number. 85 is missing. You used a 100 chart to find the missing number.
Great job, kiddos. Being very familiar with the hundreds chart will help you be a really strong mathematician. All right, go ahead and turn the page in your book. There we go, and your page should look just like the screen there. All right, now we're just going to talk briefly about number 1 star and number 2 apple. the trick here is that they want us to find the missing numbers, but they wrote the missing numbers for us. So what I want you to do is look at how we could find what the missing numbers were. Here is the number that comes just before that set of missing numbers, and here's the number that comes just after. How could we find out what numbers come in between? So you can see that they wrote in 7, 8, 9. Now, remember, a row goes across or side to side. In this column that goes up and down, they would want us to find the missing numbers. So here we can see that 5 comes in between 4 and 6. And if you work on going down, you can remember that pattern. The 5 stays the same, and the number in the tens column increases by 1. Or you could look at the number that comes before and after the missing number. Don't worry about writing anything on this page. We're going to go ahead and go to the next page so that we can practice this. All right, now your page should look just like this, and you shouldn't have had to turn anything. It should be the page that's right next to the one that we were working on. So here we are going to have to look at the missing numbers and try to figure out which one it is, which choice we should make, excuse me. Is it going to be 66, 76, 86, 67, 68, 69, or 66, 67, 68? Which one of these groups will shows the missing numbers? So here we go. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Now that's one strategy we could use by counting all of those numbers. What is the number that comes just after 65? It's 66. I find it helpful to go ahead and write that in so that we can check it later. 66, 67, 68. All right, those were the missing numbers. And just to make sure we're right, take a look at this number. Does 69 come right after 68? It sure does. So that means we need to circle 66, 67, 68, because those numbers match these. Those were the missing numbers. All right, let's take a look at number 4, heart. Oh boy, the missing numbers are now in a column. Mathematicians, how are we going to figure out what the missing numbers are? There's lots of different strategies we could use. Well, let's look at the number that comes just after the missing number. This is the number 42. What's the number that comes just before 42? It's 41. Sorry, my phone vibrated. All right. Then, if we were going down the column, do you know the pattern that follows? We know that we know that the number in the ones place will stay the same, and the number in the tens place will increase by 1. 41, 51. What will this number be? If you're not sure, we could also look at the number that comes just after. Here's the number 62. What's the number that comes just before 62? It's 61. Look at this pattern. 41, 51, 61. All right, we need to circle the missing group of numbers. Which is the best choice? Right here in the middle. 41, 51, 61. Those were the missing numbers. All right, let's take a look at this one. Oh boy, we know that this column is supposed to be what numbers? You said decade numbers, you are right. So 38, 39. What's the next number? 40. All right, kinders, without counting on, what's the next decade number after 40? 50. And then what's the next one? 40, 50, 60. Here we go. All right, and which group shows 40, 50, 60? There it is up at the top. Circle that group of numbers because that was the missing group. Oh boy, for number 6 coffee cup, they're trying to trick us. Don't let them trick you, mathematicians. All right, here's the first missing number. What's the number that comes just after 29? 30. And look at this, it's the decades, 20, 30, 40. All right, what number would go here? It's the number that comes just after 30, 29, 30, 31, 32. Excellent job. All right, which group am I going to circle? What were the missing numbers? 30, 31, 32. Here it is. Very good. All right, let's go to the next page. All right, kinders, you are ready for independent practice. You are going to do the same thing. See if you can write the missing numbers and then circle the group that shows what the missing numbers were. For number 10 house, the directions are a little bit different. Let me read those to you. It says count forward to find the missing numbers, write them in the chart, and then draw a circle around the column that has a 3 in the ones place. I'm going to say that again. So for 7, 8, and 9, you're going to do the same thing. Just fill in the missing numbers and circle the correct group. For number 10 house, fill in the missing numbers and then draw a circle around the column that has a 3 in the ones place. Pause the video and go ahead and do that in your math book right now. All right, hopefully you are all done. I'm going to fill these in really quick so that you can check your work. 98, 99, 100. And hopefully you circled this group. Remember, if you make a mistake, I just want you to go back and fix it. And I want to remind you that mistakes do what to our brains? They help our brains grow, and the best kind of learning happens when we make mistakes. So mistakes are A-OK. I just want you to go back and fix them. That's how we learn. All right, the missing numbers here, 74, 75, and 76. There we go. And the missing numbers here, 6, 16, and 26. Do you see how in this column, the 6 is the same in the ones place? So let's see, you needed to circle this group. And your missing numbers here, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. And then it said circle the column that has a 3 in the ones place. Which column was that? Right here. Remember, kinders, this is the number that's in the ones place. This is the number that's in the tens place. And look at the ones place in this whole column. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Very good. There we go. All right, we are to the homework and practice pages in your book. These pages, again, are optional. Remember, that means you can do them if you want to, but you don't have to. If you'd like the extra practice, go ahead and go for it. If you do those pages, send me a picture so that I can see your work. All right, kiddos, let's take a look at the Another Look video.
Hey there! Say hello to our old friend, the 100 chart. Today we're going to use part of the 100 chart to find numbers. Our first job is to find these numbers in the chart: 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Did you find them? These numbers are all in the same row. Let's say the numbers together: 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. What pattern do you hear? Yes, we can hear 30 in each number. What pattern do you see? There's a 3 in the tens place of each number. The number in the ones place goes up by 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's find these numbers: 17, 27, 37, 47, 57, 67. Did you see how we moved down the column? What pattern do you see? There is a 7 in the ones place for each number. The tens go up by 1. Let's say the numbers together: 17, 27, 37, 47, 57, 67. What pattern do you hear? Yes, we hear 7 in each number. Now let's find all the numbers with a 5 in the tens place. Find them? Let's count the numbers together: 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Did you notice anything different this time? The numbers with 5 tens and some ones are on the same row. The number with 5 tens and 0 ones is on a different row. Let's find these numbers: 32, 42, 52, 62. Are these numbers in the same row or the same column? Great job! These numbers are in the same column. What pattern do you see and hear? Each number has a 2 in the ones place. The tens go up by 1. That's all for now. Thanks for stopping by.
Fantastic job today, mathematicians. You guys are rocking these numbers. I'm so proud of you.